tonight's content. Before we dive in to the Coomer Gremlin, I am going to discuss with you again a concept that I brought up multiple times, which is the concept of the streamer industry. When a streamer, in this case, the Coomer Gremlin, who was kind of an epicenter for a lot of this, by the way.
This is, of course, the great Andrew Wilson, Debate Bro Pro, going at Destiny, Stephen Bennell. They have this kind of Batman versus Joker type of thing going on, where I would say Andrew Wilson's like the Batman and Destiny's kind of like the Joker. It's kind of fun to watch. We're gonna crash out with it. This is actually just Andrew Wilson, very introspective. Let's get back to the Crucible. Andrew Wilson, hear what he has to say. He's gonna talk about how he could have been Destiny.
Almost all modern ways in which streaming is done. In many ways, he was the pioneer of that.
True.
Douglas Englehart for $20 says, I'm mad at the Crucible today. I got caught wearing my beautiful fit hat at work. They called it worse than a MAGA hat and not to wear it again. The Crucible is now popular. These bastards. Mods took one step back. Yeah, they suck. They suck. Anyway.
I would rock a Crucible hat before a MAGA hat any day.
He was the epicenter for a lot of this stuff. The modern way in which streamers will engage in debates and things like this while doing other things, entertaining their audience. He was kind of the epicenter for that. That was him.
That's true. I don't know if everybody understands that or knows that. Destiny, and I just kind of learned that recently, there's a lot of history with Destiny. Take a trip back in time. If you want to understand what Andrew Wilson is talking about, we have to learn a little bit of Destiny's history. And there's no better way to learn it from the Destiny versus Hassan Piker beef. We're just going to take a little bit. This is a great video by a channel called Meteor. Let me take a look at it. Meteor Mischief. And I would highly recommend Meteor Mischief on YouTube. And they did an amazing job. This is an hour and 14-minute video. I watched every second of it. And I was on pins and needles like it was a movie. Here's a little taste of Destiny and why you can diss Destiny. I'm talking to a lot of Andrew Wilson fans. I'm one, obviously, as well. But I respect Destiny. And if you don't know, like, the kind of the presence and the history, you might want to watch this.
Stephen Kenneth Bonnell was one of the first people to begin streaming full-time in 2011. He's often cited as being one of the early trailblazers of the profession. By 2016, he had transitioned into hosting live political debates and discussions and became known as a liberal political commentator who was willing to bring smaller content creators on stream. His community has always been particularly active, going so far as to build DGG Chat, one of the first live stream chats to feature custom emotes, combos, and an offline community.
The chat it's WebSockets. It was built by, I think, StanPet. I think the reason why we built the chat was because a long time ago, everybody was using an IRC backend, and then the front end was just like really shitty Flash, and it was like laggy and unstable and horrible. So I think we just ended up custom building something.
The code for this chat would be open source for a time, being forked by various political streamers over the years.
I open sourced my project because in my mind, like, I'm lucky enough to be a really big streamer. I'm lucky enough to be able to do this as a living. Why not, like, feed it back into the world? The issue is that the only people that ever ended up using it were actively trying to destroy my fucking career. So it was very, very strange that there are people who, like Vosh, for instance, or you can go on, I think, White Nervosa's site, because White Leaf was the side label project that they made. When you look at all these people that were trying to destroy me, all these socialists, all these far left commies, all of these people were using a forked version of my site, and it's like, what? So I was like, fuck this. I'm not. Why even?
Can't
Fuck you
blame
guys.
you, bro.
No.
This concept of his fan base having a place to congregate that was not tied to any third-party platform would become pivotal in his ability to survive various platform bans, attacks from other communities, and would eventually lead to him becoming one of the most influential liberal commentators and podcasters on the internet. By 2024, he would host podcasts, live streams, in-person debates, canvassing events, and would plan on creating his own media company. His willingness to bring on any smaller content creator on stream would put him into contact with streamers Hassan Piker and Vosh during the earliest days of their streaming careers.
So I just wanted to give you a taste there of the kind of the tree, the family tree of streamers. Destiny's like basically the godfather of all of them. Let's get back to Andrew Wilson.
Crucible is now popular. These bastards. Mods took one step back. Yeah, they suck. They suck. Anyway, he was the epicenter for a lot of this stuff. The modern way in which streamers will engage in debates and things like this while doing other things, entertaining their audience, he was kind of the epicenter for that. That was him. You know, the thing that's funny about it is there's been all sorts of scandals around Destiny, and he's weathered all of them pretty well. Ultimately, what's important here to note is that when a streamer gets large enough, they become an industry unto themselves. This is any mainstream personality in almost any of these types of businesses. It doesn't matter if you're a Hollywood actor, you would be an industry unto yourself.
That's what After Show Carnage is. I have my other channel. I have another channel. It's called Middle MAGA. And I get more views just reacting to their industry. I could talk about Trump and his tax cuts, but if you talk about Andrew Wilson talking about the tax cuts, or if you talk about Destiny talking about Hassan Piker talking about Andrew Wilson talking about Sneeko talking about the tax cuts, then you can maybe get a little bit more views. So he's absolutely right. Eric July rose up in the comic book industry. He's getting a lot of people who are attacking him now in a different way. And I showed you how Destiny can survive. If you want to help this channel survive, give a like, comment, let me know what you think about it. Let's get back to Andrew Wilson.
A streamer, if you get large enough, an industry unto yourself, or a political pundit, commentator, or radio host, things like this, they become so popular, they become an industry unto themselves. Destiny has become one such industry, and he has been for a long, long time. And the way that these industries work is if they get large enough, there begins to become counter industries. There begins to become these other industries which pop up specifically as a resistance tool to the first industry. Literally, in other words, people will make an entire industry out of just being opposed to whatever that personality, actor, or whatever is. It's a very interesting dynamic, but the reason it works that way is because of money. It's just money, period. There's money in opposing large enough streamers, just like there's money in becoming a large enough streamer if you have the chops to do it. There's not that many who do. So that leaves the door open for a lot more untalented people and scumbag people to essentially become the counter industry. In other words,
hopefully I would be the untalented but not the scumbag. But you let me know on the channel. I'll continue on.
You're always going to find way more of them than you're going to find supporters of the individual themselves anyway. At least ones who are coming out publicly, this type of thing. I feel like in some ways I have some unique insights into this because that's how it's formed around me and many others. In many ways, I'm a mirror reflection of Destiny, a complete mirror. For good or for bad, depending on if you're on the left or the right, I have a very no-nonsense style of debate, very cutting, very brutal. I'm very well known for it. I'm also known as a very good entertainer, Destiny, as well. He's known for both of those things. Known as also having a somewhat no-nonsense attitude when it comes to debate, being somewhat cutting and brutal, and also as being a good entertainer. And the values and things that we talk about are completely antithetical to one another. Completely antithetical to one another.
So that is the first part of the reaction. I think the majority of it is really setting the scene of Destiny. I'm going to kind of break this up. I don't want to do too much longer than 10 minutes on these clips. And if you want to see more, comment, like, and you'll get more of this on After Show Carnage. Well, I'll see you on the next one where I will continue this reaction.
The next clip is ready below. Welcome to After Show Carnage.